Hello and welcome to episode number 23, bonus episode of the
What?
TweedleEat TweedleRun podcast, where Steph and I document our Run Disney adventures at both Disney World and Disneyland parks. I'm Court and this is Steph.
Hello, and as always, you can interact with us on Instagram at TweedleEat TweedleRun or reach out to us via Gmail at TweedleEat TweedleRun@gmail.com if you want to talk to us or leave a comment or ask us for an interview. You can also listen to us on Spotify and Amazon Music or watch our smiling faces on YouTube where you can hit that like and subscribe button and if you want to hear more. So, on today's episode, we're going to be continuing on with some more marathon weekend because this is just going to be a whole bunch of marathon episodes because, it was a lot.
It was a
Uh,
marathon.
so
Yeah,
it,
it's the
it was,
marathon podcasts of the marathon.
yeah, well,
This
it's
is
the
why we're
Dopey
doing a bonus
Challenge.
episode. There's so much to talk about. We did
Because
so many things, Steph. We want to
we did.
tell you about
We've,
all the things. So
we did. So now we finished off with our 5K day and we completed our Big Kid Challenge day. And on to the next day, which was the 10K day, which is the day the court was running. Yay! So we got up
yay.
together
We
at
Yeah,
3:30 in the morning to make ourselves look
so
like
fun.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum, also known as TweedleEat and TweedleRun. Get it? Get
So
it?
cute. We
Oh,
looked
we're
we
so
looked
cute.
so cute.
We were
I
so
when the
cute.
alarm went off at 3:30, I definitely was like, why am I doing this? This is terrible. And then after we ran it, I said to Steph, I was like, that was so fun.
Because it is.
This is why we
Eve,
do it.
you were
Um,
funny because even as soon as you got into the corrals, you were like, "This is why we do it."
I know, it's true. So it was real cold this day. So it was um there I think like 39 Fahrenheit, like 4 degrees Celsius. So it was
Yeah,
cold. Like you could see your breath. And I was a skeptic, but
he really was.
we brought the Mylar blankets. I had
Hmm.
one like randomly. We'd had it for years in like our camping bin that we'd never used. Steph had hers from the day before because they actually handed them out at the end of the races. So she had a Run Disney one. So we wear that. It kept us real warm. Like
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, I'm actually not doing too bad. My legs were a little cold because some people had wrapped it around their legs. I'm like, if I had two blankets, that would have been ideal. I would have put one as like a skirt and one as like a jacket.
And there were a lot of people throughout the race days that did have this, but I
Mm.
was happy being wrapped in my baked potato blanket.
Yeah,
It kept me warm enough like a little baked potato.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
we were in Corral C,
Hmm.
so we had to be like set, ready to go. At 4:40, we hit the bathrooms. We're all comfortable in the race queue. Race started at 5:16, so not that far off from where I said the race had started the day before for the 5K. And I think we're off, and it wasn't too bad. Like it didn't feel like crazy congested. As always, I was quick out the gate and Court's going, not so fast, little one. And so then I
Slow it
went
down.
back to Court pace, which was good. It was good. It was a good pace to go.
I
Uh,
liked, so it started outside of the parks. It started on the roadways, this race course, this 10K. It only went through Epcot, or sorry, it went through like the boardwalk area and Epcot,
yeah.
but Epcot was the only park that it went through. But starting outside the parks, and then it obviously ended outside of Epcot, but the last 2 miles were sort of through Epcot. I really liked that. It was a lot nicer. It allowed you to get more spread out at the beginning. It didn't feel so congested, like Steph said.
Hmm.
Um, and this was so cute. So we were running along. We did see another Tweedledee Tweedledum. Oh my goodness, I was going to say it wrong. Couple waved at them, but
Yeah.
multiple people on the race course were like, "There's a Tweedledum character stop coming up," and apparently you can go down the rabbit hole of all the Run Disney chat groups, and they somehow get
They
this
know them
information
all.
ahead of
There's like little
time.
signs posted everywhere,
Yeah.
apparently. So
So
they knew.
so fine, but it was great because then we had like sort of the heads up that it was coming, and it's the cutest picture stuff. We are just so
It is.
adorable.
It's
Yeah,
such a good picture. So
our costumes were really on point. I loved it. So anyway, so we did that. a highlight for sure of the race. But just all in
Hmm.
all, it was a great race. Like, as much as it was cold in the morning, having the Mylar blanket, I wasn't cold waiting. And
No.
then it's nice 'cause you don't overheat during the race. Like we've run so many races where it's like you're literally sweating the minute you start. So that was kind of a nice change of pace to actually like not be super hot by the end of the race, like just feel
No.
comfortable.
And the only problem with it is that, and they give you a blanket at the end, is at the end you're hot, so you don't necessarily want to wrap yourself in the blanket right away, but then you're kind of sweaty and then you get cold waiting. And so,
Yeah.
and I think our bus was initially broken down, so then we were waiting to
Yes.
try to get on the bus and we're like, it's cold now.
I
But
know.
no,
But it wasn't bad.
it
We
was
were back to the room by 7, and we were actually um, we were back to the room. We got ready to go. We got on the bus, had no issues, got on a bus pretty much right away, and we were at security by 7:50. Again, we were going to Hollywood Studios, so comparatively, we were only about 20 minutes behind where we were when Steph did the 5K because she sat on the bus for so long. So we were definitely on the first bus going out, but it just was that much later because of the 10K. But so 20 minutes, we were about 40 people back from the tap
yeah,
cells versus the day before we were 20 minutes earlier and we were
we were
literally
right there.
right there. Tap cells opened at 8. We had such a slow line, which is fine. It happens, but you're sitting there and like all the other lines are moving in and you have that anxiety. But we were rope dropping Toy Story Mania this day.
Sure thing.
So we weren't in a huge rush. We weren't too worried because we're not trying to do one of the big rides because today was the challenge of getting the bear. We wanted to
Yes.
get the bear. So we were going to try and ride it as many times as we could before the line got super long because the line does get long for this ride. So we go right there at 8:14. They let us on the ride. 8:30 is early entry time. 9 o'clock is park open. 8:14, we are
We're on the
literally
ride.
on the ride. We're
Yep.
like, this is amazing.
Sweet.
Round one, no
Terrible.
bear. We did not get a
No
bear.
bear. I don't even think we got kitties. We just were
I
beavers.
think we were
Solid
viewers.
beavers.
Round two, 8:25. Round three, 8:37. Then I needed a pee break.
She was dying at this point.
I was like, okay, Steph, I like literally after the first round, I was like, I kind of have to pee in the second round. I kind of have to pee. So then anyways, pee break. Round four at 8:56. So again, so we got in 4 rounds before the park officially opened. And then we did the 5th round at 9:10.
After park opening.
This was our best round. So we did improve every single round.
Yes.
We did not get better than kitties.
No, we only got kitties. And we had tried the same things that we tried in California, a bunch of the tips. The one tip, and this is if anybody wants to try this, allegedly, when you're at the alien ring toss, if you get all the aliens on the spaceship with the ring toss on it, the spaceship flies up and a robot pops up and you throw stuff
Yeah.
in his mouth. We did it in California.
So it
We
was so
tried,
easy. It was
it
like
was
the
so
easiest
easy.
one to do. And in Walt Disney World, no.
We couldn't do
Never
it.
could you. Never. There's
And
aliens
and
popping up constantly.
and if, like we abandoned it. As soon as we abandoned that idea, our score went way higher because then we were trying to
Yeah.
get everything else. Because we got a bunch of the other clues, we got it. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
if you want the tips, message us and we'll tell you. But we don't have
Yeah.
time to talk about it now.
But
We have
anyways,
more things to get onto.
there's so many YouTube videos too that you can watch about it. But
Also
anyway,
that
so
too.
but I broke 200K and
She
you
did
got pretty close. You were like 190. So like
90. Yeah.
it was definitely the highest scores we've ever gotten.
Yeah. So
But anyways, challenge failed.
I think Court did get one round. She was the best in car.
I was the best in car. That was exciting.
Yeah.
But
That was
yeah,
exciting.
that
Not
was
the best of the
that was not
day.
the challenge. That was not the challenge,
No,
Steph.
so boo. It was still fun. Our arms were very sore, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
So then from Toy Story Mania, we decided to order the correct Ronto wrap this time. So
Delicious.
we got the breakfast Ronto wrap. It was delicious. And then we got the plant-based tachos, which were also delicious.
Yeah, from
And
Woody's Lunchbox. And yeah, they were
yep,
I was really happy with them. We did some PhotoPass pictures because we were kind of like waiting around. We wanted to go to the Brown Derby Lounge because that was another lounge fail we had had on a previous trip
yep,
where we didn't get to go. So we did some photos pass pictures. We were just like kind of taking our time. We did the Frozen sing-along show, which is Always a good time.
Super fun. And I had it for me because my kids are coming on the next one. It was fun to like go through some of these experiences and imagine what they're going to be like. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how it all goes when we're there all together. So that was good.
Oh, the historians are
Uh,
so funny.
yeah. And then so from there, we went to the walk up for Brown Derby Lounge. Got to eat on the patio because this was the day when there was like magical little rays of sun on the patio, and you actually wanted
Mhm.
to sit on the patio because definitely the day before, unless you were right in the sun, like we were in Nomad's Lounge, you didn't want to sit on the patio.
Yeah. We
But we
got
tried their
the
Cobb salad.
yes, they're famous for it. So I'm like, let's get it, Steph. We decided to split it. We got the blue cheese on the side so that Steph could have blue cheese because I don't like blue cheese and also it doesn't like me. So,
Yep.
you know, no blue cheese for me. Um, it was good, but it wasn't like, I don't know. I wasn't like, yes, this is amazing and I understand why everyone wants to get this. It was
Yeah.
a good
It was
salad.
still good.
I didn't mind it, but it was just kind of like, okay. And then I got the margarita flight, which I do recommend because I enjoyed all of them. I think the blood orange one was my favorite, but it was
Yeah.
just a fun way to like try different ones. And it's not much different price from just like one margarita because they're slightly smaller, but it just seemed like a better value because you got the
I
three
think it
different
was
ones to
like
try.
maybe like $2 more than one
Yeah.
margarita or something like that. So I was a good girl and I got one normal standard drink. And that was a fun game to play with our Instagram followers is
Yeah.
guess whose drink was who.
Who drank the flight? Oh, not Steph this time.
Yeah, pretty much everybody guessed it was me.
Yeah, of course they
Wrong.
did.
So wrong. Yeah, so from there we took the Skyliner over to Epcot and scanned in at Epcot at 12:30 because
Obviously.
this is where we were gonna start our eat around Epcot, eat or drink around Epcot, I should say.
Yes, we were like, we're not going to do the drinking around the world because we are here for races. Steph does have to do a half marathon tomorrow and a marathon the
Mm.
next day. So we were like, we'll just eat and drink around the world, just have like a nice, easy time. And it started off okay, and then it really fell downhill because it just so there's no food booths at this time of the year because you're between the Festival of the Holidays and the Festival of the Arts. And like, okay, we went to Les All. It had a huge line. It actually
And that
didn't take
was
that long.
no,
It
and
moved
Liz Hall was good.
quickly. It was good. The downfall was there were so many things that I was like, I can't eat these because they obviously are full of like mousse and whipped cream and all this. And I would love to eat them, but
You
then I'll hate my
cannot.
life. So like, so that was good. We really liked, we also got a sorbet in Italy. Again, it had a long line,
And
but
that
it
was
did
good.
move. It moved pretty quickly. We got the lychee cha-cha at the Joy of Tea booth, and it was
Not
absolutely
good.
horrendous. Also, we got a drink in Norway because we were like, what? And they had like a cider. It was like in a can. We're like, fine, we'll just get that. At this point, we're kind of like just trying to finish.
Check off.
Yeah, so it was made in Sweden. It
Yeah.
wasn't even from Norway, so we were like, anyways, we got pretty
And the
disenchanted with
can
it.
wasn't even from Sweden. It was from Vermont. Like
Yeah,
it said on
it
the
was
can,
canned in
Vermont.
Vermont. Yeah, so
Yeah, so we're like, meh.
we, anyways, we ended up getting through all but we didn't do Mexico, Canada, and UK. So we did
Yeah.
9 of the 12, and then we were just like, we're just doing it to get it done. So
We weren't excited about any of the food that we had left to
no.
eat, and we're just like, that's it. Done.
No. So
Calling it.
I feel like maybe if we go and there's like a good festival, then we can do it where we eat like at a food booth in each country. I would enjoy that, but this was
I
meh.
agree. Yeah.
So we we did Figment because Steph had never done it.
No.
How did you describe it, Steph?
I said it would probably be most enjoyable if you were under the influence of some form of drug. So,
Yeah,
hi.
marijuana specifically.
Yes.
So she didn't love it. We
No.
did Spaceship Earth because we didn't have lightning lanes this day. We were just kind of doing stuff that didn't have a weight. And I was like, I haven't done Spaceship Earth in so long. And I kind of like doing it every once in a while. So we did that. It was great. Um, our Guardians virtual queue callback time just kept going up and up
It
and
just
up.
kept growing and growing and growing. So,
So at some point we were like, and then Steph
eh.
had decided that maybe she wanted to get something at the expo. So I was like, well, why don't we just do that? So we walked to the beach club, went to the expo. Steph got a Spirit jersey because she'd seen
Which I
people
was,
walking around with them.
yeah, which I was super glad I did because I
Yeah.
would have been really upset afterwards, seeing everybody with it. And I have worn that sucker many, many times since. So I'm glad I got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, I think it was worth getting. And then
Yeah.
we were having dinner at Toledo, which is in the Coronado Springs Tower because we were staying there. So we thought, let's do that. You can see the fireworks from their outside balcony, but it was so cold already. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm okay. Like if it was a nice night, it would have been great to stand out there and watch them. But I was like, eh, I think we'll just have dinner. So we had dinner. Neither of us were like super hungry because we've been eating around the world. So
Yeah.
Steph got like a romaine salad with some scallops on the side. I got this vegan option, which it was good, but it had a lot of beets. There were a lot of
It
beets
sure
on
did.
that plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, too many beets. Good, not great, too many beets. Those were my that was my feedback for Disney. Anyways, and then that was it. We, kind of made our way back down to our hotel room, which was super convenient, and both of us were in bed by 9:30.
Yes. And I was drugged up on Benadryl, so I fell asleep. That is my
Yay.
tip. I fall
Steph
asleep with
got a
Benadryl.
good sleep. So yes, we were trying not to kill Steph because now getting into
Now
oh
gets
my
into the
goodness,
heavy stuff. This is
day
now day
4.
4. Yeah.
Is
It
it?
was time
Day
for
3, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Day 4. Yeah, you're
day
right. Day
4.
4.
So this is half marathon day. So I got up at quarter after 3. I was on the bus by 3:40 and it was definitely busier than the 10K. Like there was actually like a lineup to the bus versus
Mm.
before there was always like mingling around the bus. Um, Today was warmer and I knew it was warmer because the guy who was helping everybody get onto the bus was actually wearing shorts.
Mm.
But at Coronado, like where you got the bus, it was all nicely covered because yes, it was lovely and warm, but it was raining. And not like
Boo.
heavily raining, but just enough to be annoying. So I was glad I had my Mylar blanket this time, just basically as a rain shield. So
Yeah.
I get on the bus, we get there, we get to Epcot, and like as soon as you get off the bus, so many people are just by the Epcot ticket booths, like hiding out from the rain essentially until it kind of passes. Like I ended up going to the bathroom and then like wandering out again and trying to like find an area to not be super wet. And then eventually I was like, screw it, I'm just going in the corral. So I was wet to start in the corral. It was just starting to stop raining when it started. So the race got off at about 5:13. I was in corral B at this point because for the half and the full, I got to move up to B. Um, the like race started and it only sprinkled a little bit. It definitely did feel busier, but never like super, super congested. The whole theme of all the races for the character stops that they were moving through various decades. So now we were kind of like in the 60s and 70s of Disney days, and so the character stops were Mary Poppins and Bert, and I kind of wish I stopped for them, but the lineups were super, super long. And then there was Cruella, and it went through like a whole Robin Hood theme. So I got
Oh,
pictures with like Little John and
and the
just for court
fox.
and the Fox Robin Hood.
Who, who, what 80s child girl did not have a crush on Robin Hood? I'm sorry. He was very handsome.
I determined it was his swagger. It was all about his swagger.
He had the
But
riz.
he did have the wrist. There were lots of country bears. I did not take any pictures with the country bears
They're
because they're
creepy.
creepy,
Yeah.
so creepy.
Hmm.
But Jack and Captain Barbosa were there. Of course, Mickey and Minnie, Donald and Daisy. The last picture I got was with Darkwing Duck. Like,
That's
come
fun.
on,
Yeah.
that's pretty fun.
That's a good 90s throwback.
Yep. I also got to run through the castle. Ooh, I should talk about this. So when you do the half or the full, you get to run to Magic Kingdom and run through the castle.
So
And
fun.
I don't know, like, I guess, okay, fine. I have a podcast and I've been to Disney a billion times, so I guess I am a Disney kid, but my like little inner Disney kid was like so happy to run down Main Street towards the castle. Like I've tried to film it all and I felt myself get so emotional about the whole situation. I was just like, this is so cool. Like even though there are other people doing it with me, I felt like, no, I am the only one running down Main Street with all these people
Yeah.
cheering for me towards the castle. So that was definitely very awesome. There's lots of PhotoPass people out front of the castle that you can get your picture taken. So like that was also very cool to do. Um, so yeah, so I did it. It was great. I shaved 5 minutes off of my half marathon time from Disneyland, probably because it wasn't so flippin' hot.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah. It
that
was a
definitely
lot
helped.
nicer weather for you. I mean, even with the rain, it was
Yeah,
still nicer weather.
it was still nicer, but I did it all. I got some pictures taken, photo pass back at because it wasn't crazy busy. So I got my dopey picture then. I got my goofy picture then. So that was great. I ran into another Tweedledee and Tweedledum and Alice and the whole Wonderland gang that
Oh, and you
they
should mention you were the Cheshire Cat for this race.
yes, I was the Cheshire Cat. So I fit in well with them, but they paid much more for their costumes than we did. I was like,
We
ooh,
we're
those are nice
more
costumes.
DIY, low budget
Yeah, yeah.
costumes. Other people have much fancier costumes than we do, but we still have fun.
Oh, we do. So then yes, I was back to the room by 8 and Court did her duty and she joined the
I,
Tiana's.
that's
Go ahead.
right.
Yeah.
I got the virtual queue for Tiana's because that was my job at 7 a.m. and I got group 37.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
Yes,
And
it was
and I
great.
posted on our Instagram account about what I was doing that morning,
Yes.
which
That
is
she got the
usually
virtual queue.
usually Steph does all of our Instagram account stuff, but I was like, no, no, Steph is busy. I will do
Steph is
this.
busy. Steph is running.
So anyways, this was the morning of the worst bus luck. And this is a tip that we have for everyone. If you are going on a race weekend and there is a half marathon, don't go to Magic Kingdom. That's a terrible idea. And here's
Yeah.
why. Because you can't get there. You can't get there. So we at 8:55, we were at the bus for Magic Kingdom. There's no bus. The time just kept ticking up and up and up about what the return time is. I was like, maybe we go to Epcot because at this point, I think there were like three Hollywood studio buses that had come and gone. There was definitely at least one Epcot bus. The next one pulled up. We were going to do it, but then Steph was like, no, I just ordered an Uber. It's supposed to be here for 8 minutes or in 8 minutes. So we're like, fine, we'll do it. And then she couldn't cancel it and blah, blah, blah. So we're like,
Without
fine,
being
we'll take
charged an exorbitant amount.
Fine, we'll just do that. We never saw a Magic Kingdom bus. So we finally took the Uber and then sat in all this traffic trying to get there. And we're like, well, no wonder there's no buses. They can't get here because the roads had been closed for the half marathon. And so it was just like all backed up because you
Hmm.
can't like Magic Kingdom is just difficult to get to because you got to take the monorail or the ferry. And then anyway, so tip, don't go to Magic Kingdom in the morning of the half marathon. That was a terrible idea. We decided to take the ferry boat because the lineup we also showed up at like the worst time ever because it's like in the
Yeah.
morning, but we're not early enough for like rope drop. And so we're with all the people who think that they've shown up early enough, but they haven't. And so there's just a million people. The lineup for the monorail was so backed up. We're like, let's take the ferry boat because we never had. And it was
It
actually
was
great.
lovely.
We were on
Yeah,
the
it
ferry
was
boat at
great.
9:46. We tapped into Magic Kingdom at 10:02. Like it was a delightful ride. We weren't really crammed in. There was lots of room on the ferry. We got off like super quickly and then you're closer actually than where the monorail lets you off. So anyways, and so what did we rope drop as soon as we got into Magic Kingdom, Steph?
We rope drop Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, we got
So,
breakfast.
yeah, we got we got chicken and waffles.
Oh my God.
We ate
So
food.
so
It was so good.
we got chicken and waffles. We split one, which Steph afterwards was like, I could have eaten that all myself. But they had this side of fruit that you could add for $1 because, they also do the fruit waffles. And I'm like, they're probably going to give us like a tiny little cup of like berries. So they were only $1. So I ordered four. So it turns out it was like an entire like little tray of frozen. We got so much frozen, like, I mean, it was
It was at
frozen,
least
but
like,
thawed.
but still, it was probably like $4 worth of fruit in each one of those
Oh my
things.
God. Like that is the best deal that you can get is you get the side of fruit
It's Sleepy
at
Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow if you're in need of some fruit because you don't eat a lot of fruits and veggies when you're there. Anyways, but it was way too much fruit. So anyways, you've been warned. We decided to do Haunted Mansion. Again, we didn't have any lightning lanes this day, so we were just going to try and do some of the rides we hadn't done before that had low waits. It was a posted 13-minute wait, which means that it is a walk-on,
Walk on.
which it was. We did that. Steph wanted to do It's a Small World, posted 5-minute wait. It was a walk-on. This was at like 10:30 in the morning.
37, yeah.
Yeah, we were waiting for our Tiana's virtual queue to get called. This one, not as good as California because they don't have all the characters in it, which is one of the best parts
Oh,
now of.
of Small World. And
And
then
and then you saw what they did for the one in Disneyland Tokyo.
it looks so good. They
They
have
added
Groot.
they added little Groots all through the ride, which is
They have
adorable.
they have little baby Groots all throughout the ride, and then sometimes other Marvel characters in different parts of the ride, but Groot is like integrated in all the countries.
I
So
mean, it's not
cute.
it's not that hard. Like it's literally just adding a little anyway, so step up
Come
your
on.
game, Walt
Come on,
Disney World,
Florida.
Florida. Make It's a Small World better. Anyway, so we did that. That was fine. Um, the dad with the kids behind us, where they were like, the kids did not want to do this ride. They were like, "Oh my God, when is it over?" And then we kind of got like stopped a little bit at the end, where it was like
And they
taking a
were
little.
stuck. And they're like, oh no. Oh well.
Yeah, so we got called for our boarding group for Tiana's. So at 10:38, our boarding group got called. We went over there at 11. We only waited 15 minutes in the virtual queue. We went back row again, and we were pretty
Did
much dry. It it was a little, excuse me, we got a little bit wet. Shoes and bum were dry, a little bit more. We think because it rained in the morning, the
it was
water levels,
splashier,
it was
was higher.
splashier. Like the people
Yeah.
in front of us definitely seemed like they got
Oh,
wetter
they got much more wet
than
than
when we rode
the
at night. So we think,
yeah.
anyways, heads up, if it rains, you might get more wet from the water levels rising. So then we did Under the Sea Little Mermaid because we are children of the 80s and we know every single word of every single song of that movie because we watched it on repeat. It was a posted 5-minute wait. It was a literal walk on, and it
Hmm.
only took as long as it did because there was a family of Disney adults with their Disney children. And the Disney children were walking very, very, very slowly because they were like 2 years old. Like they were
They were
very little.
tiny. They were tiny little Disney children. And it's a
So
very long queue to walk through for Little Mermaid, as we
it's a
established. We're like,
long queue.
this is a long queue.
Walking
So yeah.
really slowly behind the kids. Anyways, but
Oh, we did that. It was good.
we also decided what our gauge was for Disney adults. Steph, what was the gauge that we decided was Disney adults?
It was 4 pieces of flair.
4 Disney pieces of flair. We were up and down about the Magic Band because I said it does have a purpose, and
Hmm.
yes, you can get it themed, but I was like it can add into it, but I was like I feel like they need 4 without the Magic Band. But anyways, both of these parents and their children had at least 4 pieces of Disney flair, so they were definitely Disney adults with Disney children. So
Yes.
so then we got on the monorail to Epcot. We and then took the so we took the monorail to Epcot because we had
The
to scan
scanning.
in so we qualify for the virtual queue at 1 o'clock, as we did every day. We
As
went to
we
Epcot
did
so many times.
so many
Then
times.
we were going to Disney Springs because we had a boathouse brunch because they
Hmm.
have the dueling pianos, which we
Hmm.
love. So from Epcot, we actually took a bus to Saratoga Springs. And if you get off at the Congress Park stop at Saratoga Springs, you can walk to Disney Springs. It's like a, whatever, 8-minute walk, maybe,
Yeah,
Steph.
it's not very far.
Super easy, which
Through
I
the
learned
forest.
yeah, there's a little forest you get to walk through,
Yeah.
which I learned because I stayed at Saratoga Springs. So we got to Disney Springs around 1. Gideon's was just doing a standby line. So we went to our boathouse brunch. It was
Check.
delightful. I think Steph, you got the espresso martini here.
I
I
did.
got a mocktail. Delicious. I had the club sandwich, which was so good. And you had,
Let's see. I had the grilled mahi mahi sandwich with
yes,
fries, which were delightful.
yes, it
It
was
was
very
it was
good.
all very good.
We went to Gideon's at just after 2 o'clock, and it turns out we got there for the hot cookie hour, which we weren't trying to do, but
No.
they told us it would be about an hour and 10 minutes in the queue, and we waited 41 minutes. So, like, it wasn't too bad. The lineup was like just kind of down and slightly around the corner where the Morimoto, yeah, Asia is, and
Hmm.
so it wasn't too bad. We didn't mind the wait. It wasn't super hot or super cold or anything like that. So we got our cookies, and then we went to World of Disney, mobile
Shopped for
checkout.
the kid shopped for the
So good.
kiddos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the Air McKenna Bakery because it's a fully vegan bakery. So I just kind of wanted to try it. I got a cupcake. It was good, But the thing is that everything is also gluten-free and vegan and like all the, doesn't have any of the allergens. Like that's kind of what they're known for. So it was good, but like I can eat gluten, so I'd rather have stuff with gluten in it.
Yep.
Anyways, then we went to Saratoga Springs, back to the Congress Park stop and took the bus back to Epcot. Uh, we scanned into Epcot at 4. Guardians was saying estimated callback of 5. We were like, okay, maybe let's try and maybe we'll ride Frozen. We've got like an hour to wait. Posted was 55 minutes. The lineup was out around the corner. And we had experienced this before where they said it was a 45-minute wait when it was all the way around the corner. And it is not. That is a lie.
No,
That is a
definitely not.
bold-faced lie. So we were
Yeah.
like, nope, not doing that. I had gone ahead to scout it because Steph was, slowing down a little bit from the half. And so I went and scouted it, came back, was like, don't waste your time. We're not walking over there. So we ended up watching the Encanto show and it was cute. It was just like a sing along and the
Yeah,
kids, all the
and
kids there
ki
liked it.
kids get involved. There was a little girl who stole the show, so
Oh, she was so cute. Like this 2-year-old
yeah.
with like just like, oh my goodness, she was so cute. But I said to Steph, I said Sawyer would love this. He would 100% be up there stealing the show if he did it.
Mm-hmm.
So did that. Our virtual queue for Guardians. It got called. So at 7:36 we had gone there. We went in and like the line was not moving. It was
It
super
was so
long.
long.
And like I think because it had gone down or something. Anyways, they must have called everyone back. We waited in line for like maybe 14 minutes. It was not moving. I said to Steph, I was like, yeah, this is like going to be way too long. So we just said, you know what? We've been able to ride it. Let's just call it. So at 8:05, we were back on the bus to All Star Sports. Oh, I should say we switched hotels this day. So
Yes.
we made the mistake of staying in the nicer hotel and then moving to the slumming hotel. And I shouldn't say slumming because it's still, not a
It's
cheap
still a
hotel and it is
it's
still
yeah.
a lovely hotel, but it's just a downgrade from the beautiful Coronado Springs Tower. So anyways, so we got checked in there. That was super easy. We had paid for a preferred room, which was nice because at least we were very close to the main hall and to the buses to reduce the amount of walking. And that was the end of that day. And Steph got to bed at a reasonable time.
Yeah.
And then
And
the big
then
day, the big show.
the big show. The big show when I got to get up at 2:45 in the morning. So that was
Early.
a very early morning, but I was like ready to go up at 2:45. Bus was already there and filled with people. And so then another bus was coming to be filled with more people because there were a ton of people staying at All Star Sports for it. I was in Corral B again, and the race is supposed to start at 4:38. And I got on the bus, or sorry, the race was started at 4:30. I got up at 4:38, and I made a conscious decision before starting this race. People were asking me before, "Oh, do you have a set plan for your marathon?" Since this is the first ever marathon I've ever ran. My goal, if I were to just run a marathon, would probably be under 4 hours. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm at Disney. I'm going to do it and enjoy it the Disney way. So I decided to stop at as many character stops as I wanted to or cared to. I probably did about 20, which was pretty awesome.
And you said that wasn't
Um,
even all of them.
no, and I did probably most of them. Like when I go back to think of all the character stops, I think there was maybe 26 or 27. And really the only one that I regretted not stopping at was the first one, which was Ariel. That I missed Ariel just because it's childhood, like they're all Disney movies of the 90s and 80s. So Ariel should have been a natural stop for me. Didn't happen. Lineup was too long. But by the end, a bunch of the lines were like, I didn't even stop my watch. It was like pop in, pop out. And then that was it. But this day, it started out like 8 degrees and gradually got colder as I ran. So I was trying to run faster to keep warm, but I also didn't want to burn myself out. But no, I did all the character stops. I ran all the way to Animal Kingdom, did a picture in front of Everest, and a picture in front of the Tree of Life, but like the side view of it because they never let you to the front of it. And then I was running by Expedition Everest just as it was opening, and they're allowing people to get in for early entry just before 7:30. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I got in line. They hadn't started. They did like one practice run, and then I was in the third car on. And the best part about this was I was sitting with a woman who had never ridden it before, and we're on, and we go through the first backwards motion, and she's just like, it stops at one point. She's like, "Is it done?" And I'm like, "No, not even close." So the picture's hilarious because the guys behind me were loving this. She was having none of it, and I'm having a grand old time.
She looks terrified
Definitely.
in that photo.
Oh yeah, it's a great picture. But the little side detour that I took to ride Everest was about 18 minutes, but 18 minutes well spent. So all in all, I finished my first marathon. Oh, and I
Yeah.
should say, one of the coolest part about the marathon was in between Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. There's a stretch where it's just like down a service road behind some forests. And I was coming through here just as like the sun had been up for maybe about 20, 30 minutes or so. They did a Star Wars mile so that there were 4 Star Wars character stops. There was Chewie, Vader, Phasma, and Rey, and they had music going and smoke machines going and laser lights going. So it was like you're running through a TIE fight. Like that was very cool. And then running through Magic Kingdom was just as good the second time around as it was the first time around. I was still getting very emotional, even though I did it the day before. I tried a jumping picture in front of the castle, not good. So you and I may need to practice this if this is going to
Okay.
be part of our plan for princesses. We got
I'll
to
put
figure
it
out how to do a jumping pose.
I'll put it on the training schedule.
Jumping pose. But no, so I finished the marathon, did it in about 4.5 hours, including all the stops at a 6:30 pace, and it was great.
Yep.
Would I
And
do it again?
I got there and I
You
saw
did.
her finish and I'm like, literally, Steph, I was like almost tearing up. I was so excited for you to have finished this ridiculous dopey challenge, but you did it.
I did it.
She
And
finished it.
I did it like at a good clip, like a respectable pace that I still enjoyed myself. The only thing I didn't do to finish off the marathon that they say you should do when you do a Disney marathon is to cross the finish line with a drink in one hand and a snack in the other hand. Just because when I crossed the finish line, none of that was open yet. Because
Yes, true.
I did
And
look to see.
and then I said to Steph, I said, Steph, would you do it again? And she said,
I said no. I
one
said
and done.
one and done. No, my true answer now that as time has passed, because people say this will happen, do I need to do Adobe again? No, I do not need to do Adobe again. Would I consider doing it when I turn 48.6? Yes, I would, just to be comically funny about it. Do I want to run a marathon? I don't know. Maybe someday if I'm just training for just a marathon, maybe it's not so bad as training for the dopey and that I don't have to dedicate so much of my weekend to it. So someday if I get into my brain that I want to run the Tokyo Marathon, maybe I'll do that. But as of right now, no. Halves are
No.
great. I'm happy training for halves and maybe getting faster at halves or getting faster at a 10K.
And
But
then,
no,
lucky for Steph, I then rushed her out of there and was like,
sure
"Hey,
did.
Steph, so it's 9:15." She finished. She did a great job. I said, "So early entry starts at 9:30 for Epcot. We're right here. Do we want to try and ride Frozen?" And we did. We waited 17 minutes and we rode Frozen. Steph in her running outfit, which was Alice, with her medals and her Run Disney Mylar
I was gonna
blanket.
say, and my Mylar blanket and my little hat. I had
And
my marathon ears
yeah.
on
Yeah,
too.
they gave
I
her
was,
marathon Mickey ears, which was so cute and unexpected.
yeah,
Yeah. And so then you were one of those crazy people in the park where we're like, why wouldn't they go back to the hotel to shower first? Anyways,
that's
but
why.
it was great. So congratulations, Steph, on finishing your
Thank you.
dopey. We're all very proud of you here at the TweedleEat TweedleRun podcast. And so I think that will wrap it up for all this discussion of our marathon time. And in our next episode, we'll maybe tell you a little bit about our spa experience that we got to do after the races. But until next time.
Tweedle out.